All right, it is good to be back with our boy. Back for the first time, 3-time PGA Tour winner, 2002 PGA champion, and arguably most importantly, the winner of the only ever Larry.
Yeah.
In the pro division.
Yes,
Have
that's
you forgotten
right,
about
the
that?
Larry.
You won that thing.
I did. What?
You played with our guys too.
I
Y'all had
know.
a time.
Oh my
That makes it
gosh,
even
they
more
were.
impressive.
Oh my, that was the best day. Like I showed up to it, I'm kind of okay, this will be fun, this that, and all of a sudden after about 7 holes, I'm going, this will be really fun. And all of a sudden about 15, like I'm having a blast.
Yeah, and making birdies all
I
over
was
the
making
place.
birdies all over the
we
joint.
wouldn't stick you with some squares.
No. You guys did
Put you with
good.
the
All
right,
right, well, this
crew.
is going to be a lot of fun. Before we get going, we got to give a big shout out to Bardstown Bourbon. We're at their tasting room here in downtown Louisville. But Bardstown
Correct.
Bourbon Company, located in Bardstown, Kentucky, the bourbon capital of the world, the first destination on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail to combine distilling, culinary, and beverage expertise to create the modern bourbon experience. Immerse yourself in their award-winning whiskeys from the 2023 Worldwide Whiskey Producer of the Year. By the way, our little number 2 right here.
Yeah.
The Origin Series Bourbon, highest rated bourbon in the world.
On the planet.
How about that?
Last
know.
year. 98 out of 100.
I got to put mine on ice a little bit.
By
you
the
guys
way,
are pros. I'm just gonna-
this will warm the belly.
I know. I saw you take a little sip out of that one. So
Well, we are filming this live today
Cheers.
from their
Thanks for-
tasting room.
cheers.
Beamer, you're the man.
thank you. Thanks
Make
for
sure you come
having
on
me,
down here,
guys.
check it
Good
out a little
fella.
bit. Cheers. I got a little old fashioned here. It's fantastic.
Yeah, this is
All right, well,
Ooh,
let's get to this. 2002
it makes me want to break dance.
makes you do your little dance.
Hell yeah.
2002 PGA champion, you won at Hazeltine.
Yes, sir.
With that, you get to come back, tee it up at the PGA Championship every year. How much does this week mean to you?
It means, I think as I get older, it probably means even more because I think once you kind of go through the process of not playing full time and becoming a part time player, you kind of, I don't know, you feel a little awkward, I think, or at least I felt a little awkward at times coming out and playing. And to be fair, I kind of thought that after 20 years at Southern Hills, I really wasn't going to play too much more because the golf courses are just getting so beastly long. And I didn't play last year at Oak Hill, thank God. I mean,
looks tough.
yeah, and so I wasn't even planning on playing this year. And we're sitting around about Thanksgiving time and having a cocktail with my family, and they go, "You're going to play in the PGA?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, why not? I'm like, well, golf courses are getting like really long, but I said, you guys aren't showing up, and like going out there and playing, and nobody's out falling around. I'm like, it's really not that much fun. They go, well, if we show up, will you play? I said, sure. And I probably should have said no, because after seeing the golf course so far this week, it's manly. It's got hair on its chest. But just coming back to it each and every year, I think, again, it means a lot more to me now than it probably did 10 years ago when I wasn't playing full time. And it was, I wouldn't say, I felt awkward. And now I have fun with it.
Well, I mean, dude, I watched you play a couple holes yesterday. You hit it nice, and you were playing alongside your man crush, Tommy Fleetwood.
Listen, I have to. This
Does that
is
get awkward?
This is my.
Is he aware of the love?
Oh yeah, he knows. Yeah.
Okay.
But here's the thing, though. I get to play with him once a year, and I make it count. I'm like, Tom, we're going, and he's like absolutely all in, and so we have a blast.
Sleaze, when you're humping a dude's leg, they're kind of aware that you have a man crush on him.
Well,
Yeah, you just climaxed on my khakis there, Rich.
it was only on the 7th tee. We were way back in the woods. Hardly anybody saw.
Elaborate on this a little bit. Where did the love for Tommy Fleetwood?
I
Not
met
that
him
he
in-
doesn't deserve love, but why him?
I met him in 2012 on the European tour, and fresh faced. I mean, you should see him without his beard. Oh, he doesn't look very old, and so. I mean, he was this young kid, and I got a chance to play with him probably 2 or 3 times. And then we started playing a couple practice rounds back then. And I could see right away this kid's got game. I mean, he was absolutely just a flusher and had every component to it. And I said at one point, I said, listen, you keep hitting the ball like you are, you're going to win majors like Rory's winning majors. And he just kind of laughed it off. And I still believe that. I still think that Tommy's got enough game in the tank that he can peel off, 2, 3, 4 majors because he is that good. He's efficient at what he does. I think he just has to kind of sometimes get just a little bit more belief in the fact that he can beat the best in the world at the biggest stages, because he's already done it in other venues.
Close at majors, too.
That's exactly right. So he's just, I saw right away how good of a player he was. And once I got to back working with Sky Sports, I got to reintroduce myself to him again and things like that. And since 2015, we've just been bumps on a log, man. He's a good dude.
Man, he flushes it. Like, I love watching him play.
Geez.
And he's just the nicest guy on the planet. I actually found out yesterday, walking with you, he's like, how's the podcast going? I'm like, first of all, I didn't know you knew I had a podcast. He goes, dude, I listen quite a bit. I was like, well, would you like to come on sometime?
What are you waiting for there, bud?
Great.
Broker that deal for us.
That's
Richard.
not a problem. Not a
Yeah,
problem.
he is awesome. You mentioned doing the work with Sky Sports now. You're out there on the golf course, running to you all the time. Can you just give the people at home a little idea of this run Scotty Schauffele is on?
Oh, it's again, I think that when folks start talking about the Tiger Woods legacy and what he's doing, that's what Scotty's doing right now. Tiger obviously did it for about a dozen straight years, and so that's the biggest difference. But what you're seeing right now with Scotty is pretty much that. I mean, he's just not giving anybody a chance, and I think that when most people tee it up with him, they kind of understand that they're going to have to play their absolute best because Scotty, doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes, and he doesn't ever look like he's going to make mistakes. He keeps himself in position time and time again, and you watch the way that he hits it and the way that he attacks these golf courses. He doesn't give you a whole lot of hope, and then all of a sudden, now that he's putting, so well, and I remember the first time when I saw him with that putter was in Bay Hill, and I was in awe. I'm like, he finally looks comfortable standing over a putter. And ever since then, it's just kind of how it is. But, I got to play when Tiger was at his best and he was just winning a clip. And it's almost the only difference is that Scotty doesn't show a whole lot of emotion and Tiger brings the entire crowd into it, where Scotty just kind of, just watch that. And Tiger, he wants the 60,000 people there to know that it's his party and watch out.
Yeah, and that's a perfect segue to this because in 2002, Tiger was trying to sneak up on you there at Hazeltine. You held him off. But, do you think Scotty, being that we're comparing him to Tiger right now, do you think Scotty, when they see his name on that leaderboard, is it the same kind of fear that guys had during peak Tiger?
I don't think so.
I wouldn't either.
And it's no offense to Scotty, but you just, again, it wasn't just Tiger you were playing against. There was the 40, 50, 60,000 fans that were there with him because, when Tiger walks off of the green, they all walk with him. And funny enough, we saw that last week with Rory as well. The last 2 days, you could see as soon as he got done holing out, everybody bailed. I mean, it was evident on the back nine clearly on Sunday, but even on Saturday, I'm going, this is interesting. But Tiger brought everybody in there. And I think that as good as Scotty is, he hasn't kind of, I won't say warm or endeared himself to the fans because that's not an accurate statement, but he hasn't given them that excitement that Tiger would always do with the fist pumps and raising the roof and things like that. Scotty just goes, thank you, and just demoralize you because you know that you're not nearly as good as him, but it's a different kind of beatdown.
Thank you. I'll take another $4 million.
That's exactly
like the point Tiger did against Bob May in the playoff, which is one of the sickest. So that's not, and the place erupts, and every person on property wanted Tiger to win. I feel like Scotty's awesome, but I don't know that he has the whole gallery being he has to win.
It's just when Tiger made that putt to go into the playoff. I mean the woo like this, and just everybody lost their minds. And I think if Scotty makes that putt, he might fist pump it, but that's about it. He just doesn't have the dynamic. He's got the game, but he doesn't have the dynamic aspect of it right now. But listen, if he continues to play as well as he is right now, I think that he'll have a different identity to as being world number one and being as dominant as Tiger if he should continue this track.
I mean, you say it perfectly. Like Scotty, I mean, everybody loves Scotty. Yeah. They're not diehard Scotty fans. They're diehard Tiger Woods fans. The entire gallery, whoever Tiger's playing with, was rooting for them except for the other guy's family. Yeah. Basically, that was there. Everybody else, or Tiger.
Yeah, if you had 30,000 people, 29,998 folks were rooting for him, and my wife and Caddy were rooting for me.
Yeah, and that's not a knock on Scotty. That's just that.
Not a knock
look
at
at
all.
Tim Duncan, was a great basketball, kind of the same way, right? Just kind of went about his business. Then you get a Kobe or a Jordan, it's different. You know what I mean? That's just how he is as a personality.
Do you think that Scotty has a problem going to the grocery store and picking up, some diapers and milk and all that?
Zero.
Tiger, I mean, there'd be helicopters flying overhead.
Yeah.
There'd be paparazzi popping out of the Frosted Flakes section.
Yeah. All right, before we get back to Rich Beem, I want to tell you about a sponsor of ours that's going to change the way you travel. I am talking about Ship Sticks. Colt, you use them, I use them. Everyone loves going on golf trips. The one thing you hate, packing up your clubs, lugging them around, airport. You get there, the dude body slams them on the conveyor belt. They treat them like complete trash. Take care of your clubs. Treat your clubs the way you want to be treated. Give them to Ship Sticks. All you got to do, package them up, boom, they come. Get them from your golf club, get them from your home, wherever you're going. Like we said a million times, use this thing once. You'll never not use it again. It's the only way to travel with your golf clubs.
I absolutely love it. I use it all the time. Shipped them to Pine Valley. They beat me there. Shipped them home. They beat me home.
Shout out.
And we're just looking
Shout out Pine
glorious when I
Valley.
got there.
Shout out Pine Valley. Ever heard of it? Anyways, Shipsticks, all you got to do, it's easy. Go to shipsticks.com. Enter the code SUBPAR. You get 20% off. Or you can go to shipsticks.com/subpar. That also gets you 20% off. Use it once. Never won't use it again. Treat your clubs the way you want to be treated. Now back to our interview.
We are sitting here at the Bardstown Bourbon tasting room down here in Louisville. You're getting ready to go to the Champions Dinner.
I am.
Listen, a lot
Ooh,
gets
yes.
made about the Masters, the Champions Dinner. I mean, it's unbelievable. But y'all have a Champions Dinner every year here at the PGA Championship. Tell us a little bit about it. How does it work? Is it similar to the one at Augusta?
It's similar to the fact that you have past champions show up there, then some figureheads from the PGA of America. It used to be a lot different, where it was all the player directors, the 14, I think it was 14 sections of the PGA of America, I think it was, plus their wives. And I mean, it used to be a massive, massive production. And finally, I think that Dave Stockton finally said, listen, this has to be more about the champions themselves. And that's what it's gone back to. And funny enough, I just remembered this a couple days ago. In 2002, when I hosted it, it was a lot like it is now, with the exception of it was mainly just the players, a couple of folks from the PGA of America, and some special guests like Tim Fincham was there at my dinner. But that was it. But then in the room opposite of us, there was the wives having their dinner. And it was, I'll never forget, because we were having a kind of buttoned up downtime, at our dinner and whatnot. And then once we were done, we went over to the ladies section, and they were hooting and hollering and carrying on. Azinger went in there and gave some sort of mini speech, and all the women went crazy. I mean, the wives were getting after it and having a blast. And we're, sitting here, buttoned up, this and that. But it's a lot more laid back now. Like, we don't have to wear a tie. It's more casual instead of formal, but, still wear a coat and whatnot. But it's a little more subdued.
Does the champion have to pay for it?
No, Pat, not as far as I know. I didn't have to pay for it.
That's way better than winning the Masters.
And you get a stipend.
Yeah,
and you get a stipend for giving the past champions a gift. I don't know if they at Augusta if they give gifts or not. We've had some really good gifts. I'm going to boast. I gave ostrich skin boots.
Nice.
In mine, with the PGA America logo on it, and then champion underneath for the winners. And then Vijay Singh gave fishing equipment, and he goes, I'm looking for a hobby. I don't know if I'll like fishing, so I thought I'd give everybody fishing equipment. Sean McKeel gave a guitar one year. Justin Thomas gave a really nice bottle of bourbon from Woodford Reserve. And should
have been Bardstown.
Yeah, it should have been. Yeah, sorry to our sponsor tonight. Sorry, guys, if you're hearing this.
Cut.
And then last year, I to be fair, I went to the Champions Dinner, and I wasn't playing, so I thought, I'm going to just go in there and enjoy myself. And the wine they kept bringing out was just getting lovelier and lovelier. And by the time that they were telling us what you got as a gift, I was just, as they say in the UK, I was away with the fairies. That was awesome.
And you get to do that. Like, realistically, you're probably not coming in this week like, I want to win this golf tournament. There's a bunch of guys in that room that are. Who are the other dudes in there that are like, I want to have a good time? Maybe who's the most fun guy to sit next to?
Well, the guys that don't play anymore we're the best. I mean, you got the Doug Forge. You had, and I'm going to forget these guys, but these guys would show up, and it was great for them to come back each and every year. But they came in and just got on the sauce early and often, and it was just beautiful, and they were just a blast. And that's what we don't get too often anymore. We don't get a lot of the past champions. Like, unfortunately, we don't get Nick Price. We don't get Bob Tway. VJ's not going to show up. Nicholas Trevino, Watkins. You're not going to get all these older guys where that's where the Masters, what they do very well, is they get all their living past champions to show up, where we seem to struggle with it. I don't know if there's a solution for it or not. I know that Dave Stockton's spearheading a lot of that, and so hopefully we'll get a few more of those past champions coming in, but we'll see. But it's just a button-down, good time, relaxed. We're only there for a couple of hours. Meals are always just otherworldly.
Do you pick the menu? Does the champion pick the menu or no?
The past champion picks the menu. So Brooks is whatever he's got dialed in is going to be.
What did you serve?
So I served a steak wrapped with bacon, and then I had twice baked potato and a green chili. In a green chili bowl, and then a couple of shrimp with some spices on it. I forget what it was. And they had tres leches for dessert, and then of course for to start off with, we had tequila.
Just a light
from
meal.
El Paso.
Just a light little meal.
Just a light little meal. You
got
got to have tequila to start off with. You're in El Paso. It's just like, hello.
Yeah, you just need a 2-day nap after that thing.
That's about right.
Have it on Tuesday. That way, by Thursday, you might be ready.
That's exactly right. Yeah, they should have this thing on like Monday night instead of.
Yeah, a little more
one extra day. One extra day to kind of recover a little bit.
All right. Well, listen, we want you to play really well this week, but let's talk about some of the guys you think have a chance of winning this week. We threw this out on our SiriusXM show.
Yep.
You get Brooks, Scotty, Rory, or you can take the field.
Oh, jeez. I'm taking those three.
You're in the field.
This is
You're
true.
in the others.
Listen, I haven't played 17 yet, but you guys privied me to exactly what 17 could possibly play like. I'm just going to let you know that most players this week were out there with their track bands, testing out their wedges and seeing how far some of them go and whatnot. I was seeing how far my 4-iron, hybrid, and 7 would go because I know I'm going to have a host of those clubs in my bag. Those three guys, they are going to be, just because they hit it the longest and kind of know where it's going. It wouldn't surprise me to see Bryson play well.
I tell you what, I walked with him about 5 holes yesterday. Looked really good.
Yeah.
And you mentioned you getting ready to go. Saw John Daly today, right when they blew the horn. He goes, shit, I was really going to practice today.
He's so full of it. That is so funny.
I saw him on the equipment truck ripping a dart walking by. I was like, this guy, everyone else out grinding. The weather was back good again. He's just sitting there having a nice time. He gets it. Huh? He was actually posted up in the equipment truck, just hanging out, sitting outside having a little
dart. He was walking through the gallery and people were asking for autographs. He grabbed one dude's hat, didn't break stride, signed it, didn't even look, just threw it. I was like, there's no way the original guy got that hat back. He's the best.
That's JD. It's always funny watching him and playing with him at Bethpage when he's driving his cart down the fairways or wherever he's driving it. Drive it right on the tee boxes. Like literally right there on the tee box. And you get done, and there's just like these dozen Coke cans rattling around in the spaces up in front.
That's after 9 holes.
It's just like, this is it's JD. You got to love the guy.
He's the best.
Somebody monitors his warm up for a recent Champions Tour event or something like that. It was 4 Diet Cokes, X amount of cigarettes, this, that, 6 balls or something, 6 range balls. Yeah. And he went to the first tee.
Funny enough, he used to practice a lot. He'd go out there. Have you guys ever watched him hit his wedges around the practice?
Have you seen the one-handed left hand?
He would sit there and do that. He'll do that for an hour. He'll sit there and have a dart here, Diet Coke in the right hand, and just sit there and hit shots with his left hand. And it is spectacularly
the left is so
talented.
much harder than the right, too. It's crazy.
I think Tiger said it obviously many years ago, but he's like, look, everybody raves about JD and how far he hits it. His hands are about as good as anybody's around the green.
He's unbelievable. He could have been one of the greats in the game. He just had a little different look at life.
What are we doing? He's won 2 major championships.
I know.
Put him in the Hall of Fame.
Put him in the Hall of Fame.
He's one of the most famous golfers of all time.
Because you got to put the players in there that actually brought masses to the game.
Yeah, like a social impact.
Daly brought masses to the game.
Put him in there.
Nobody cared whether he shot 65 or 85. They wanted to see either the 65 or they wanted to see the train wreck at 85. Nobody cared.
He was one of those guys, and I was talking with Bryson about this yesterday because we're talking about the cut or no cut and all this, and I said, there are very few guys that are in 60th place on Sunday that a massive amount of people show up to watch. He was one of those.
He was one of them. Absolutely. He would be one of them. They'd show up. They'd be lining the fairways on both sides, getting ready to watch him get out there and just get after it.
So he's
outside of Tiger, you could argue, cultural impact, bringing people to the game that otherwise wouldn't be involved in golf or have interest.
JD
he'd be right there, wouldn't he?
Right behind him, yeah. When I got on tour in 1989, he was definitely he was definitely number 2 behind Tiger.
Yeah.
I mean, Tiger was still back then was number 1, but Daly was easily number 2.
Before we get back to the episode, I want to tell you about Rowback. I'm rocking one of their hoodies right now. They are the best, most comfortable hoodies on the market. They also got polos, crew necks, and like I said, the hoodies are by far the best. We're going to give you 20% off. All you got to do is go to rowback.com. That's RHOBACK.com. Get you 20% off when you use the code SUB. Once again, go to rowback.com. 20% off if you use the code SUB. Make sure to check out before summer, and they'll have you ready for whatever travels or activities you have. Now back to the episode. Who you grouped with this week?
So I've got Sebastian Soderberg and a young man who I think is not a sponsor's invite, but
I was going to say, how the hell do you apply for one of those?
Well, he's probably Monday qualified. No, I'm kidding. But he's from New Zealand. He's 22 years old, and he's just turned pro. He's won 3 times on the PGA Tour of Australia, I think, but in 3 out of 4 wins. The kid is just steamrolling everybody over there, and I think he just got a late, I'm assuming just a special invite from the PGA last minute, because I can't figure out where else he would have.
Do you know his name?
No, I don't.
I'm going to look.
You'll learn it on Thursday. Let's not get caught up in the semantics.
It's an Asian, it's a Japanese-looking name, but he's from New Zealand apparently.
He knows you. That's all that matters.
Well, I am the first one to hit. I am the first one to tee off.
You do have the honor on Thursday, as you should.
Thursday and Friday.
I'll give you another little thinker here. So we just gave you the Rory, Scotty, Brooks, or the field throw out there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. PGA historically, there's been a lot of guys win their first major at a PGA.
Yep.
Give me the guy you think most likely to win his first major championship this week.
If I don't say anybody but Tommy, then
I was going to say,
I'm going to do that.
Take the love aside. He'll still love you if you don't say Tommy.
Xander.
Yep.
There you
I think
go.
that's 1A. I think there's a few that could actually do it.
Sadly, Cantley's not playing.
I think Ludwig.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, anywhere, but especially the way he drives the golf ball.
Yeah, Kazuma Kabori.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good player.
Yeah.
Zoom.
I've seen him play a couple times.
Okay. First time
You'll probably be hitting first into the greens.
that is so weird. So weird.
God, he must smash it.
He's 22. He's bendy.
Yeah.
We're not bendy.
Yeah, pliable.
I actually believe I covered him a couple of years ago at the Asia Pacific Amateur that I go to. I've done the last 3 years. I think it was 2 years ago in Thailand. He was down there. Yeah.
Okay. Zoom.
You and Kazuma.
You'll get to know him.
Who else could win a first major?
The Xander pick.
You said Xander. We said Ludwig. I got another one or two that I would.
I'd have to say a list right in there, but yeah, I mean, there's a host of guys.
I think Zalatoris gets one.
He was on my lips, but I thought I'd put Xander out there first, just because I think that people. We talked about Xander last week on Sky about that was his 7th time, either 7th or 8th time leading after 36 holes, and it was his 7th time leading after 36 holes. He's only won twice before that, and this was his 8th time, and he didn't get it done. But listen, I mean, when you run up against a juggernaut like what Rory was doing. I mean, Rory looked like on Saturday like he was about to kick it into different gear, and he just couldn't quite figure it out. And then once it started kind of chugging along a little bit on 8 and 9 when he made birdie, then you kind of thought, all right, and then he makes the eagle on 10, and then you're like going, and then it just gets silly after
He's
that.
had bad beats on Sunday just running up against monsters.
He
We
has.
talked about this. Look at his scoring average. Give him that.
I was literally talking to one of the agents the other day, and they're like, dude, what is the deal with Xander in these final rounds? I was like, you know what his scoring average is when he's in the last group on Sunday? It's 69.4. It's not like he's shooting 75.
And that's just it. I mean, I saw him on the Callaway van on Monday morning, and he's in there working on his putting. And I'm like, dude, it's there. You just ran up against a guy that refused to get beat. I mean, there was nothing that he did wrong at all on Sunday. Granted, the putting might have been a little bit not on point. Hit a couple of dicey wedges on 11 and 12, but you can kind of forgive that because of how firm the greens are and the bounces and the spins at times. But I mean, the guy is, again, as we say, he runs into guys that just
Wyndham last year did the exact same thing to him.
When you're going up against guys 8 under through 15 at Quail Hollow, when everyone's shooting over par.
Didn't he go on an 8 under through 8 stretch or some shit like that? What are you gonna do?
So we joke around a lot, like
lose?
Xander and I.
You're gonna lose. Sorry,
tip the cap and go home.
But Xander and I have a great relationship, and every time I'm with his group, he plays extremely well. And so he'll be like, "Hey, you with me today?" But this last week, they split us up. So I had Rory,
That's
Dottie,
right.
Pepper.
That's right. You did. That's right.
So Dottie, we always joke with her like she's the Black Widow, and so today I
How
show
does
up.
she like that name?
She loves it. She thinks it's hilarious.
Oh, okay.
And so I show up, and there's Xander. He's in the bunker, and I'm talking to his caddy. He turns around and he goes, Dottie Pepper's my goddamn kryptonite. I was like, can I please film that and send it to her? And he goes, yeah. So we filmed it, and she loved it. She goes,
that's
it's
beautiful.
unbelievable. He goes, this is hilarious. He goes, did you watch the Tom Brady roast?
Not yet.
Okay, well,
Dial
there's
that
just,
up.
It's
You'll
great.
appreciate
This
it.
doesn't spoil anything, but there's these just random times Kevin Hart will be up there and he'll just be like, "Fuck you, Tom," and it's great.
It's just like it's like a space killer, just like all right in between, just fuck you, Tom.
I love that.
So he goes, now on every bad shot I hit, I'm just go, "Fuck you, Dottie."
That's no, on a Thursday morning and she's nowhere around.
I said, if you do that, I will pay your fine the first time.
That's so
There you
good.
go.
'Cause it'll be hilarious.
There you go.
That's
Can
really
we do
good.
that for Tiger? Can we do that? Because then you have like 1,000 former PGA professionals just walk up to the microphone just one time. Fuck you, Tiger.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like all of them.
Let's get a Tiger roast. There was a little shit going around the internet about a roast of Tiger. Like, there's no possible
There
way,
ain't
but
no
he
chance.
would be the dream guy
he would
for
be
a
the
roast if you could tolerate if he could tolerate it.
Oh, that would
But
be-
I mean, they make 3 hours. Like I thought Brady's was too long, but I was like 3 ain't enough.
Yeah, that
for
would
Tiger.
Yeah, that would. I mean,
will never happen.
You could have them lined up down the road of every player that he's demoralized
Yeah.
throughout his career, and just want to come up and just send it back
Just
to him
take
just
shots.
once.
Finally,
It'd be
Just
awesome.
one.
I'll tell you
Fine.
else, it would be a great roast. We just talked about John Daly would be an awesome roast.
he'd do, and
I think he
and
might
he'd
even
be
Daly.
into it.
Hey,
I
you
bet.
pay him what you
Awesome.
paid Tom Brady? I promise you he'll be up there.
Yeah.
Maybe even for a little less.
Yeah,
you never
probably.
know.
Yeah, you can maybe get him for a bargain. The Black Widow, though, for Dottie. I
Widow.
think they
That is-
eat their.
that is
I
so
think they
funny.
eat their mates after they mate.
They
I
do.
believe they eat them and kill them.
That's-
if I'm not mistaken. On
You,
my,
I mean, wow, you actually paid attention in science class.
I'm a wealth of knowledge.
You are-
a
you're-
wealth
All
of
the
knowledge.
worthless knowledge he's
Well,
got.
yeah.
All the
You're
shit
a
that
regular
matters.
Cliff Clavin, baby.
Before we get to our picks with Rich Beem for this week's PGA Championship, I want to tell you about Callaway. I know Rich is going to be playing the Callaway Chrome Tour X out there at the PGA Championship this week. I use it. Just made 9 birdies at Wishbrook with it, Sleaze. No big deal. by
Just
the way.
9?
Just 9. Got my boys Demon and Marsh's money. No big deal. But it's the new gold standard in tour performance. Every detail has been optimized from cover to cover. Chrome Tour is designed for better players who want the best in distance and feel. Chrome Tour X is for the best players who want speed and ultimate control. Go get yours at CallawayGolf.com. Shop the Chrome Tour golf ball family and learn more about the line. Now, time for our picks with Rich Beem. All right, well, every week we do a little prediction. We do a favorite and a dark horse. So we're going to put you on the spot. We're going to do it as well. Right now, let's get our picks for the 2024 PGA Championship Valhalla Golf Club.
All right. After watching Rory last week, I mean, I can't quite go away from that just because it was just made my jaw drop in a few places. But I mean, I just the way the golf course looks and sets up. I mean, he's got to be up there. I mean, defending champion at this venue, you know, essentially. He's going to be my pick just because of what I saw last week. I mean, and if there's a dark horse that's any darker than me, I'd like you to show
You are
him to me.
midnight.
I
Midnight. We're
am
calling
the
you
most.
midnight.
I am like, yeah, absolutely.
I did hear there is a 61-year-old club professional.
There is.
in the
I
field.
know. How about that?
You should have got paired with him. Hit bombs past his ass.
Dude, that would make me feel so good.
You know what I mean? Just
I'd
dwarf
love that.
him. That'd be sick. 61. Good luck.
Yeah, tough. I mean,
Yeah, but you know what?
A lot of
Here's-
head covers.
the place in
think-
Frisco, though, is crazy long. It's
Yeah,
brand
Yeah, but
new.
it's like it was bouncy as hell and like kind of linksy style. Like
yeah,
you could
but
get
hey,
away with some.
hey, he earned it though.
low
He
chase.
got-
Oh, dude, that's props. At
He
61?
got here, man. He
There's
is
some-
here. He's give him his due. He's
There's some
out
dudes
here.
that can play in that thing. To do it at
There's some
61 is impressive.
Definite dudes that can play it.
all right, I was going to go Rory.
All right, he's going
but
Rory and Rich Beem. That's going to be a popular combo. By the way.
I'll tell you who I'm going to go with. And
Okay.
I just think he's pissed off after
Oh.
last week, and he's going to get that first major championship. I'm going Xander.
Good.
God,
I absolutely. It'd be a popular win. I think.
It's a problem.
Absolutely.
It's the second week in a row.
You going Xander as well?
I got Xander. 14 to 1, dude.
I mean, look, last
I
week-
won it with my heart because I'd be like, dude,
Yeah.
you deserve a monster win. You've been so close. But also,
Yeah.
like, it's not like just a heart play. Like, dude, he's been as good consistently as just about anyone outside of Scotty this year in terms of
picked him to
never
win last
playing bad.
week.
He has like 40-something made cuts in a row, by the way.
I think 46.
And he just needs 100 more to
Yeah,
pass
against Tiger.
Tiger.
That's all.
But 46, dude, that's a joke.
That's really impressive. By the way, we've been doing this show. We've been on over 200 episodes.
200?
I mean, we
Yeah,
have
200
Mark
plus maybe.
230.
How about that?
And
Can you believe it?
Damn,
we
you
make
guys,
we
I
make
mean,
picks
just-
every week.
Yes.
Never once have both of our picks lined up. They did last week, and they both finished top 8. So
we basically know our shit really well, Rich, is
Well,
what we're saying. Who's your
aren't
dark horse
you
then?
guys?
If this happens again,
So I have 2, but I only can pick
that's
one.
dark horses.
Yes, that's true. Wait, we got a lot of horses here in Louisville.
Yes,
True.
you do.
Okay, I'm gonna go
Win in
70 to
Rome.
1.
Ooh.
Your guy, just because he hits bombs, and I saw him on the range today. Minwoo Lee.
Oh, God, say less.
Oh, yeah.
I should have picked him. This should be back-to-back weeks.
Shout out, just in case it's right. I kind of sneaky. He's 150 to 1. That's what kind of pushed me away. But Akshay Bhatia won the PGA Junior Championship
Yeah,
here.
he did.
And he's playing really solid. He's played nice. Played the Masters. Made the cut after winning at San Antonio. Just that's the dark horse.
Dark horse.
150
Yeah,
to
he's
1.
a dark horse. It wouldn't be the most shocking thing in the world, but that's a dark horse. All right, mine. I'm going with a guy that I think over a year ago, I was like, this guy will win multiple times on the PGA Tour this year, is what I predicted. It has yet to come to fruition, but I am confident that it will at some point. Cam Young is too
Ooh,
good and too
yeah.
talented.
Yeah, that's another guy
he plays
that
good on
hits it
hard
for-
golf course. He's not the shootout winner type of guy. Doesn't putt it like that to win the 24 unders and things like that, but just tee to green. He was close at Oak Hill last year, close at Southern Hills. He's gonna win some big events.
You
I'm
know
just
who we
waiting.
haven't, who's like, because he doesn't play in our tour anymore, or any tour anymore. Well, he does, different tour. Adrian Maroc. He can shift it out
interesting.
there, and
Yeah.
he can flat out play as well. And I mean, and I know that he's got. I mean, he frickin' hits it a country mile.
They all hit at a country mile now. It's
I
ridiculous.
know, but
I
The
told
Ryder
I
Cup
told
snub.
I
Then he
hit
won
it like
right
a-
after
I
that
hit
too.
it within the city limits mile.
Yeah, I mean,
I was shocked the other day when they released the TrackMan data from 2023, and the average ball speed on the PGA Tour is 171. I was like, I'm out here every week. Nobody hits at 171.
No.
At least the guys I cover.
that's because they're not on TV. The
Yeah.
171
The
guys
ones on
aren't
TV are
being
not
covered.
171.
No, they're not
824
171.
off of 10.
Yeah, I mean, that's Rory's 2-iron. It's
I know.
ridiculous.
it's
Okay, we'll put
fun.
one more question before we let you get
Yeah,
out of here.
absolutely.
Give me a winning score for this week, since you've actually played the golf course.
Oh, let's see here. I don't.
Par 71, so 284.
So 284. Saw some guys pick 11 under on TV last night, but I think it's going to be lucky 13 under.
13, okay, yeah, I think it's going to be better than
I
11.
could live with
I just-
13
I think
for a major. 13. I think it's hard to keep them at 13. I think you're gonna. I mean, it's long, I know, but if the greens aren't hard and bouncy, they just eat it up no
Yeah.
matter what. How far they are.
and you know the greens they're a little on the small side, so I mean you got to be pretty dialed in with your irons, and you know there's some goofy areas around the greens, but yeah, it's. I think that just because of the fact that it is going to play long with all the rain that we're still going to get, sadly, on Friday, and I don't know what the weekend looks like, but you know I don't care how far you're going to hit it. You're going to catch a flyer, you're going to catch a mud ball, you're going to catch something that's going to balance the books a little bit. So I'm going to stick with 13.
All right, 13.
13 under.
I'm looking right around 15.
Yeah, I would go north. It's 15.
I mean, these guys, they're just
They're
so
just,
good.
They
it takes
are, man.
and it takes one guy. Look at no one was picking 19 last week for Rory, and he got there going into 18. I don't know, he made double.
Well,
But
I mean, we were talking about it, but you know what the funny thing is? I think that last week's golf course is harder than this one. And
I
Rory got
agree
to
with
17.
that.
And 17, and
Yeah.
Rory got to 17. So if somebody gets to 20 this week, I mean, it wouldn't be a shock, but it is the only thing that this does have though is it's just that you got to bring it on the tee on every single shot, where last week you can kind of back off a little bit. Here you have to, there's no holding back on any of the tees.
No, it's going to be a great week, man. Hopefully
It
it
suits
is.
you.
Yeah.
Let's go shock the world. Huh?
Let's go shock the
Shock
world,
the
baby.
world.
Last made cut 2019. Let's do it again.
Do
Let's
the
do it again,
shimmy on
baby.
the 72nd. We'll
Done.
be there for you.
Done.
We'll
Easy.
be there for you.
Rich Beem, 2002 PGA champion. You're the man. Thanks so
You
much
guys
for
are the
joining us.
best. Thanks for
Appreciate
having
you,
me.
man.
Thanks,
Thank
boys.
you.